to Greenville Grit, Greenville residents in touch on 103.7 WTIB. This is the local show that keeps you connected and in touch with the issues that affect what's happening in your community. Greenville Grit is sponsored by Ribeyes, Kid Construction, and Greenville Toyota. Now, here are your hosts for Greenville Grit, Terry Williams and Michael Overton.
Hello and welcome to Greenville Grit. I am Terry Williams.
And I'm Michael Overton. And Terry, we got a wonderful guest today, Ted Morris, with Associate Vice Chancellor with East Carolina University of Innovation and Economic Development. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
That's a
All
lot.
Right. That's a lot. I had to write it down. But Ted, glad to have you. I've gotten to know you over the last several months on working on a project that we'll talk about and we'll get the show going on. And a lot of exciting things that ECU is doing with the Millennial Campus and some of your latest projects. So we look forward to getting into that conversation.
Thank you for having me.
But we always thank the sponsors that allow the show to go
right.
on. So thank you so much to Greenville Toyota for the support you've given us since day one. We started the show now almost 2 years ago. So if you're looking for a new Toyota or Scion or a new used car, go see Craig Gois and the Greenville Toyota team. You can catch them on the web at greenvilletoyota.com, across from Fresh Market on Memorial Drive, or at 321-3000. Ribeyes Steakhouse, if you're looking for a wonderful atmosphere, just a great steak salad bar. They got the Angus room for parties. Also got a location in Williamston, close to the Bob Martin Agricultural Center. So if you're looking for a good time, go see them. They're located in Greenville at the corner of Arlington and Fire Tower, and also the Overton Group, real estate professional serving all of Eastern North Carolina, commercial real estate leasing, sales, business brokerage, property management, and residential brokerage. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, and we'll speak with Ted Morris and learn a little bit about what is going on with ECU's new innovation. Talk to you later. Welcome back to the Greenville Grit. I'm Michael Overton, along with my co-host Terry Williams. Terry, we have had a lot of really cool people on the show since we started this, but we're going to have a really cool discussion today.
That's right.
One of the more unusual conversations we're going to have. Ted Morris, again, you are the Associate Vice Chancellor of Innovation and Economic Development. When I say unusual, we really haven't talked a lot about technology on the show. But a lot of the reason I wanted you on here is because of ECU's announcement last summer of the Millennial Campus, some of the exciting things that are going to go along with that. And what our focus of our show is, the Greenville Residents in Touch, is things that are happening in Greenville that are going to be a positive for our city. And I think that Millennial Campus, granted the designation itself is great, but designations only do so much. We hope to start seeing some physical things happening soon, and hopefully you can kind of to discuss that. But another thing we recently did, and you guys have just are in the process of opening on Jarvis Street at the old Overton Supermarket. A lot of people in Greenville know it as the City Market, which it was called from the 1990s until it closed in around 2010. But you have just opened an Innovation and Technology Lab.
Correct.
So let's start with there. Let's talk about that building and what you guys are doing there, because it is, if you haven't had a chance to see it, and I know not many people have, it is amazing inside that building.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate your help with it. It was a great team effort to get it done. It's a great example of adaptive historic reuse, and I think it's going to be a great example of community revitalization, as well as being a stepping stone towards the development of the Millennial Campus. So we're very excited about that. But the new Innovation Design Lab is quite simply a place where students can take their ideas, take their dreams, and bring them to reality. It's about getting creative concepts out of your head into physical form, beginning to prototype those, test those on the path towards commercialization. And that's something that our students can do, faculty, staff, but equally available to partners throughout the region, our industry partners, our K-12 partners, our military partners as well. So we look forward to all those types of collaborations within that space.
Well, what's nuts, Terry, is I went in there and they've got all of these 3D printers in there, and I'm still struggling with the concept that you can hit print and build something.
Right.
But it is amazing some of the things I've seen them do with those printers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I don't know, it's going to be wonderful as things, because I believe that you guys are not just appealing just to ECU students. I think Pitt Community College, for the grand opening, had their trailer out there, and how will that work within our community?
Sure. Well, the grand opening was followed immediately by the Chamber's Education Summit. And so ECU, Pitt County Schools, and Pitt Community College partnered to talk about the education to workforce pathways and the use of technology in education that all three of us are partnering on to help our students move into these technology-based, advanced manufacturing and other types of careers that are, evolving every day, some of which we don't even know will be available to these students when they graduate. So a big piece of the new Innovation Design Lab, Michael, as you know, is the MakerBot Innovation Center. And we're only the 10th MakerBot Innovation Center in the world. Sounds like we will probably be the last one.
Even better.
Which is even better. So we've made it into one of the founding organizations group, which means we'll be the first to receive and test their latest rapid prototyping technologies. We'll be a research partner with them in developing those types of technologies into new uses. So we're extremely excited about that. One really important point is this facility really is a capstone facility for the 13 facilities we have in regional middle schools. So some of that same type of technology is actually physically in the schools through a Golden Leaf funded project known as the Advanced Manufacturing and Innovation Academy.
That's not necessarily just Pitt County schools, though.
That's right. It's all around the region. So every middle school in Pitt County has one of these innovation spaces that's being put in over the last year and this year. And we also have P.S. Jones Middle School in Washington and Millennial Partnership School in Tarboro.
Wow, that's very, very exciting.
As well as South Central High School.
So this lab is being utilized, and how is this particularly going to benefit outside of students, like he was saying, into our community?
Absolutely.
Specifically? Well,
again, one of the big ways is for our K-12 students. This is a next level experience. It's their capstone facility to come and collaborate with the folks they need to make their creative ideas become reality and develop new products, whether those be adult entrepreneurs, industry partners, and so forth. Simultaneously, we'll be offering a variety of short courses, certifications, and other continuing education to folks outside of ECU and in the community. We're talking about partnering with some of the incubation resources in the community, helping tailor some of those short courses to support our local entrepreneurs. And we've got already our first funded project working for the Navy and Marine Corps.
Oh, that's really
I'm excited
very
about that one.
exciting.
That's the Osprey, correct?
It is,
Yeah.
We're going to have an actual mock-built Osprey inside the building.
That would be so exciting.
That's going to be really cool to go and listen to that thing and see how that's going to work. So.
That's very interesting, very interesting. So can you explain maybe to the public that doesn't really understand the whole concept of what a millennial campus really means, and so that they can, understand what you're really even talking about when you speak of that?
Certainly.
Okay.
Well, we oftentimes talk about it as the Millennial Campus. For those who don't know the formal name, it is the East Carolina Research and Innovation Campus.
Okay.
As you all have alluded to, at its heart, it's a legal designation that gives the university greater flexibility in the management, utilization of state property, in particular, the ability to lease that property to external partners. So, simply put, it opens the doors for our partners to come and co-locate with us in much closer, tighter, more intensive collaborations, be they around research, technology development, creation of new products, new types of training and education.
So but that's generally what you're referring to as private companies that previously could not come in on a land or a building owned by the university. It gives you the ability to do leases with those, to create those public-private partnerships.
That's exactly right.
We all want and hope to see.
Correct.
Very, very interesting.
It's really just about bringing creative people much more closely together, letting them, work across disciplines, across organizations, across ideas to innovate just as quickly as possible. And it all happens faster when you're together.
So how far-reaching, you mentioned that you would be at the P.S. Jones in Beaufort County. How far-reaching regional, you said, will you all be going as far as including other schools in the K through 12 that you were just talking about a few minutes ago?
Absolutely. Under the current funded Golden Leaf project, that's the initial batch of schools, but we are talking to a number of schools now who would like to participate in the future. We're aggregating those, taking those names, discussing those opportunities, and at some point in time we look forward to seeking additional funding to bring those schools into the network. As I've said, some of the area high schools are already getting ready. They know it won't be long for those middle schoolers before they're there. South Central High School, we've worked with them. They've put in their own innovation facility. They're creating new courses and new opportunities for their students. And we know at ECU, it's just a very short amount of time before those students are asking, if I come to ECU, what will I have in terms of resources to support my innovations, my entrepreneurial activities, my creativity? And in part, the new Innovation Design Lab is part of our answer to that.
Yeah, but part of that too is if you want to recruit the best and the brightest,
Absolutely.
for them to see what you have, knowing that there aren't going to be any more, especially the MakerBot labs. This is, I believe, the only one in the state.
Only one in North Carolina, only the
And so
ninth in the
if this
nation.
is an interest that they have, they're already local. You are recruiting them at hopefully a good time for them to say, you know what, I was thinking about this school in East Carolina, but I think they just made up my mind. So it's great.
Well, I think it's mutually reinforcing. It's about recruiting the best students. It's also about recruiting the best faculty. Our county school superintendents have indicated, as part of this project, our teachers get a new continuing education certification around the teaching of the innovation processes and being trained entrepreneurship trainers. And what our superintendents have said is this allows them to recruit more and better teachers as well. So I think they're very excited, and that's both sides of the equation. We need to make work very well.
So what other types of things, that you have hands-on experience with, would you like to share with us? Anything that you would like to?
Absolutely. Well, it has been just incredible over the last several years, the capacity we have seen for even the youngest citizens in our community to create solutions to real-world problems. They come in with a very open mind. We know, honestly, research says you hit your creative peak when you're in the 6th grade, and after that, it starts to go down. Bad news for the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
So tapping into their natural affinity for servant leadership and creativity and problem solving, this is the time to do that. The community benefits, they become what we call repeat offenders in that process, and as they grow into adulthood, we know they'll become very valuable and productive citizens. We've got an incredible potential to do new types of research through this facility and some of the other types of facilities we're growing now for ultimate location on the Millennial campus. So those opportunities are there. I think you all have already really hit the most important topic, which is it's talent recruitment and talent development. For the first time, the governor, during the main pharma expansion, mentioned, North Carolina's pharmaceutical cluster is anchored on the west by RTP and anchored on the east by Greenville. In our minds as economic developers in the community, that was a milestone. For Greenville to be recognized as the anchor of a high-tech, highly regulated, healthcare-related cluster is significant, and that places us in a wonderful position to begin to recruit, retain, and grow our own talent in that and other areas of advanced manufacturing.
I think to give people, too, an idea of a Millennial campus is physically in locations, but it's not just a physical thing. But let's talk about the physical aspect of it. I believe there are certain sectors of the city that have been designated as potential Millennial campus areas. Can you talk about where they are to the best of without people looking at a map?
We certainly can. Well, the entire health sciences campus is the largest of 4 pieces that's been designated. So, of course, for ECU, that includes the Brody School of Medicine, College of Allied Health, College of Nursing, School of Dental Medicine, the Heart Institute, and all those other assets. Our uptown properties, that eastern swath of uptown that's occupied by a lot of our administrative units. Also, our Office of Innovation and Economic Development is another piece. Third piece is our portion of the warehouse district on the south side of uptown, which we're very excited about.
Now, would that be like the area where Bostic Sugg Furniture used to be off of 10th?
Yep, and right there off 10th. And, of course, we have the Haney Building there, the historic tobacco warehouse, and several other large buildings that we're considering. And then the fourth piece is across Charles Boulevard from the athletics complex, where the health and human performance, recreational leisure studies, we call that the Stratford Arms property.
Right.
But I think you can see some strategy in those 4 locations. Obviously, the health sciences campus is an obvious choice. I mean, that's where the vast majority of our basic science research and health-related research comes. It's where we partner with Vidant and now the Veterans Administration to address the healthcare needs around the region. Equally important, though, I think, is our warehouse property. That gives us a physical location between our east and our west campus to facilitate collaborations between faculty and students there. And, of course, taking into account the warehouse property and our uptown property, you're now talking about helping drive Center City and uptown revitalization from 2 sides. And we're very excited about that.
That is really exciting. It's really wonderful to hear you say it, too, because I don't really believe the general public understands what's happening. And I mean, we all know how vital ECU is to our community, but to hear it actually being stated out and how you really fit all the pieces together, it's exciting how it comes together and what we can really see how you all are, helping us move forward. Besides just we're riding by the campus and it's just there, I think it helps to help us understand even more how important it is. And that we do have a lot to offer here. It's not just what's in Raleigh or in other cities, that Greenville, it is up and coming.
Absolutely. And in all fairness, I mean, these things don't happen just through ECU. There's a tremendous amount of partnership, for example, with the city and other partners in terms of the development of the Center City Arts and Innovation District, which includes portions of our Millennial Campus. Obviously, Michael, you and the Overton Group, a tremendous partnership to stand up this new Innovation Design Lab. And, we've got sponsors, we've got supporters, we have partners, and we have users, and they're all equally important and part of the team.
Well, and it's amazing, too, when you get a group of so many various aspects of groups together to work on something, what you can build
make
out.
happen. That's
yes,
right.
Exactly.
We as a family had a building that was literally falling down, so it was either let it fall down, which wasn't going to work, or do what we needed to do to be a good part of the neighborhood and fix it up, and in our timing and doing that, we call it God timing, but it just allowed us to have the opportunity that East Carolina was looking when they needed to go there, and all of this happened at the same time that the entire University Neighborhood District and neighborhood has really just over the last 2-3 years has just done a tremendous turnaround, has improved. So, I mean, it's exciting to see. And I know people get tired of us. We talk a lot about the uptown area, but that is where the bulk of the activity has gone on. And I'm excited. I know we talk about trying to recruit in the middle schoolers, high schoolers as they're seeing what you guys are doing, but one of the things McLean Godley ran on when he ran as not too far of graduated student that he is, was how do we keep the students here?
That's
and
right.
you hope as these public-private partnerships start to come in fruition that we can retain our graduates who go in to start working for these private companies and are still yet affiliated with their alma mater.
Absolutely.
That's right, and that was going to be one of my other, I guess, questions or statements is how will that generate technology type companies coming here, and that's what I guess you're alluding to as well in the economic development portion of what you're trying to do. How does that fit in, again, for an explanation to our listeners of how to grow Greenville's economy and fit into what you're working on the Millennial Campus?
Absolutely. Well, when you have the ability to attract new industry, military, and other types of partners to your activities at the university, that gives existing students great opportunities, right, to add to their resumes, to build early relationships with those companies that oftentimes lead to employment. So that's how that retention starts, right there from the very get-go. Longer term, being able to help them build the type of career resiliency that they'll need to, initially graduate, go out and work for someone, then maybe start their own company, go back and work for someone again. We know they're going to have many jobs early in their career compared to what many of us had, that many of the jobs they will ultimately have don't exist yet today. So giving them those rich educational experiential opportunities where they can adapt, I think, is our best bet to helping retain them here. It's not, I need to get in the car and drive somewhere to take a job from somewhere else. One of the latest developments I'm most excited about is the Miller School of Entrepreneurship that has been funded by Fieldy Miller and will soon be launched by our College of Business in partnership with others on campus. The activities there, the activities in our many labs, all of those relate to our students being able to create their own jobs and create jobs for others rather than having to rely on simply picking from available jobs in existing firms. So I think all the pieces of the puzzle will work together across that spectrum in a very productive way.
So you may not be able to answer this question yet because I'm not even sure our new economic development person is in place. I think he might have started this week.
Just started, yes.
But do you all also work, because you did mention being in conversation with the city in some of the things, so you will work with our new economic development director, whatever his official title is, and would he have a part in conversation with you about things that are going on too?
Absolutely. We work very closely with our city partners, our county partners, our regional partners, all the way up through the state, on the economic development food chain, if you will.
Right.
But as we've already discussed, honestly, we're all economic development partners.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, as we pull together and lay out the vision for this community and make our respective contributions individually or together. So we'll work with any and all, and proud and humbled to do so.
Well, Terry, I think it's probably a good time to take our second
Okay.
break. It's
Sounds
amazing
good.
how quick time goes.
know,
So
it
we'll take the
does.
next couple of minutes and advertise our partners. We'll be right back. We'll wrap up with Ted Morris. Be back in 2.
Welcome back to our show. We've had a wonderful guest today, Ted Morris. You tell him this title.
Associate Vice Chancellor of Innovation and Economic Development. I had to write
a lot.
it down.
I know we did. It's a lot, but you have done a lot, and you all are doing a lot. It's very interesting because this is all really new information for me, and it's exciting, and I'm enjoying hearing about it. So I told you in the break, I'm really not sure exactly what questions to ask you because I'm just learning so much right now. But I did ask you a question in the break, and maybe I'll just bring that back up. When you mentioned K through 12, but yet your focus was on middle school, you sort of explained to me a little bit about, I was concerned with how is that working in all the grades, and when will that come about, and how might the teachers or students, do they come and visit your lab? Just sort of explain what you were trying to explain to me during the break.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Well, our current funded project does deal specifically with middle schools. And,
Right.
and as we discussed, there's a variety of reasons for that, not the least of which we know that's when students are hitting that creative peak, if you will. We do have several high schools, though, that have begun to prepare for taking those students in. And really the invitation is to any teacher or any principal that believes they'd like to work some of this type of technology, some of these types of approaches into their traditional subject matters. We'd love to talk with them. We'd love them to become part of this community of practice. So we know that this methodology, giving students the chance to create and solve problems, works all the way down to pre-K. We've done it pre-K through 12th grade, and we've seen great results. So that invitation is there. Equally, the invitation goes out to our industry partners around the region. For those who have challenges related to product development, technology, new processes, whatever they may be, this is the facility to bring them together with smart people from academia to work on those challenges together. And we can do that in a confidential and proprietary way, and we can do that with groups of industry as well. So that invitation is there, and we'd love to hear from them.
So do they just contact you if someone happens
They're
to
welcome to
listen
contact
and they're
me.
working on something?
Or how would they go about?
How do they go about doing that?
Easiest way would be to email me at morrisja@ecu.edu.
Okay, and if they go on East Carolina's website, they could find you that way too?
Yes, ma'am. And we are the Office of Innovation and Economic Development. They can find us there.
Okay, well, that's easy enough because you just never know. Someone might be listening that has a project in mind or is working on something and is stumped about where to go or what to do and really might, need your help and services. So that's
Especially
certainly
from the private sector
Exactly,
end.
that's what I'm thinking. They just don't know where to go or what to do.
Or even know that it's available.
That's right, because I did not really realize that exactly all the information that you've shared with us today. It's exciting.
So can you tell us, has anything happened since the Millennial Campus? Anything that you can tell us about? Any exciting projects?
Well, we've had a number of good developments. Certainly, I've been pleased, and thank you for your help today in helping get the word out. I've had a pretty good, steady flow of calls, folks from industry, folks from government agencies, folks from the military, looking to collaborate more closely with ECU, looking to do that in our existing facilities as well as potential new facilities. We're beginning to think about the programming for some new facilities and how those might need to look as we begin to look to the state bond referendum in the hopes that that will pass and universities and community colleges will have some additional funds to build much needed infrastructure. So those are all exciting things. I mentioned to you we've had our first project funded in the new Innovation Design Lab, and that's building as Michael indicated, a mock V-22 for the training of Navy and Marine Corps corpsmen and hospital nurses for in-flight trauma care. And the exciting thing about that is they've already reached back and said, we now think we might even have more personnel that we'd like you to train. And
More Ospreys.
and more Ospreys. And the really important thing of that task trainer then is available to rural healthcare professionals around the East,
Absolutely.
our life flight professionals and others. So I think that's an exciting development. And as Michael indicated, we only cut the ribbon December 1st, so
Right.
I think we've had a good flow of activity and already student groups coming through.
So when you're looking at, like right now, you said you're only working with one high school. Is there a criteria that makes you choose a certain school first?
Enthusiastic and energetic.
Willing to jump in and get involved in the program?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it was the administrative team, Miss Carrie and her team at South Central,
Okay.
who reached out to us and
Okay.
said, we understand what's going on with the middle school students. We want to be ready. We want to take them as
That's
far as
awesome.
they can go. And we want to be ready to send them off to ECU and parts
That's
further.
great.
Well, so that's the key.
That's
if
it.
you want
the
to get
key.
involved, we just gave you Ted's address, a lot of exciting things. And Ted, I've enjoyed getting to know you. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for coming on the
Awesome.
show today. As we wrap up, we got to thank the sponsors again, Greenville Toyota Ribeye Steakhouse and the Overton Group. And we just really appreciate you joining in. You can catch us again on Friday night at 6:30 or Saturday morning 9:30 on Cable 7 or even on YouTube. Type up Greenville Grit. And until next week, we'll see you back at the Greenville Grit.